Hello everybody, and welcome to Game 2 in this best-of-3 match for the GeForce Pro-Am qualifier rounds. I'm your host, Big Blue Firebat, and once again we have LiquidRet spawning as the blue/teal Zerg in the upper right-hand corner of MLG's Xel'Naga Caverns, and his opponent for Team Requiem Esports is none other than DarkCell spawning as the orange Zerg. And last game, wow, let me tell you, we had quite a match. Zerglings and Banelings crashing into each other on Tal'Darim Altar. Typical Zerg versus Zerg play, and we'll see what's going to happen on this smaller map. I anticipate Zerglings and Banelings again. That is a very typical early game style of Zerg versus Zerg, usually a deciding factor for the entire game. And on this map, it's so small. There's only 2 spots that the players could be. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen. DarkCell setting up already with a extractor trick to eke out one more drone. There is some controversy as to whether or not that is going to actually provide you an extra amount of income advantage as opposed to simply making 9 drones, building an overlord, and then building more drones as you can. There has been some extensive research, in particular on the Team Liquid forums, Starcraft II Pro gaming website, and it turns out that is about the same, and it really is a matter of execution. The extractor trick is actually a little bit more dangerous in that there is more of a chance of making a mistake and costing you minerals and mining time. But the advantage is almost negligible, 5 to 10 extra minerals over your opponent, which is fairly negligible even in the early game when every mineral counts. And now we have Extractor first with a spawning pool going down for DarkCell. He wants to get those speedlings out right away. He kind of suffered in the last game of not having speedlings quite as quickly as LiquidRet. And Ret, for his part, is also going for gas into spawning pool. Both these spawning pools going down at almost the exact same time. Ret is ahead by about 4 in-game seconds, which itself is almost negligible. They'll have all of their tech paths going down at a very similar set of timings. So for the moment, we have both players going the exact same build, spreading out their overlords, trying to get some map control so they can be aware later on what happens when their opponent moves out, what they're doing along the map. And that is one of the interesting things about Zerg versus Zerg play, and it really sets it apart from the other levels of play, Zerg versus Terran, Zerg versus Protoss. Any of the other matchups, even Terran versus Terran and Protoss versus Protoss, do not have the early game full control of the map that Zerg versus Zerg do. These overlords are basically impossible to get rid of. Queens are the only tier 1 anti-air that is mobile aside from spore crawlers for Zerg, and spore crawlers are simply impractical as the overlord will spot it and just run away. So what it turns out to happen is that in the early game, and often for most of the game, Zerg players have their overlords spread all across the map, and that gives them almost full instant information about what their opponent is doing, allows them to react very quickly, making Zerg versus Zerg a game of extremely quick reactions and a game of very unusual deception style, hiding tech all over the map, if possible, trying to hide exactly what you're going for, or choosing not to hide and simply relying on better mechanics and better senses of timing to win the games. Now, back to the game. We have a Baneling Nest going down and finished for LiquidRet, and we have no Baneling Nest for DarkCell, so we'll see if he's... Or, I'm sorry, we have a Baneling Nest down for DarkCell and a Baneling Nest down for LiquidRet. My mistake. We have Baneling and Zergling with speed upgrade already going, so we're going to have looks like it's going to be a repeat of the last game, Zergling and Baneling, high pressure environments, and neither player going for any kind of... They're not even looking to go for any kind of a expansion quite yet, because I think they both know that it would be very unsafe. Their opponent would easily be able to spot and take advantage of the fact that they have expanded. And now we have a Spine Crawler going down for LiquidRet. He is actually investing in a little bit more static defense up on his ramp, which I think will pay dividends. I think it's a very smart move in this type of matchup, as the Spine Crawler can be target fire to focus down Banelings in 2 hits, and it really just allows you to reduce some of your micro. It reduces you needing to spend so much attention on what you're doing, controlling your Zerglings, gives you the ability to spend some more time on your tech, or spend some more time on trying to navigate your Banelings into your opponent's Zerglings without having to worry about all of your Zerglings all the time, or the Banelings running into your mineral line and destroying just everything. Now we have a bit of a move out from DarkCell. Looks like he's just taken over this watchtower, and LiquidRet is playing a very defensive game, teching into lair. We have an Evolution Chamber and a Roach Warren going down for DarkCell. So he's going to be going for those early roaches to try to negate the banelings of Ret. Banelings extremely ineffective against roaches, particularly in low numbers. If the roaches are clumped up enough, then banelings can be somewhat effective, but for the most part, roaches are not. Banelings are not a good counter for roaches. Now we have Ret. He is kind of playing in the dark. He wants to know what his opponent is doing. And we have a Baneling intercepting that Zergling, but there's no one coming in. That gets intercepted as well. So there's going to be no information for Ret, and that was just an enormous explosion. One Baneling, one Zergling, but I got to say that even though it was not worth it in the economy side, that was definitely worth it for Darkcell to deny that scouting, and Ret, for his part, has no information. He knows there is a Baneling nest down, and by virtue of that, he can infer that there is a spawning pool down, but that is all he knows. Of course, Darkcell, for his part, has no idea that there is a lair and infestation pit almost finished for Ret. He is going to be going for those fast infestors, and more importantly, he has very little defense when you get right down to it. He has 2 queens blocking the ramp. He has a couple of banelings for zerglings, but that is it. This Spinecrawler will be able to do some work against any armored roaches that try to push up. And we have Ret taking a risk, going for that. Oh my god, those banelings could have exploded and destroyed almost every zergling, but Ret didn't allow the zerglings to get away. But now we have a hatchery going down for Ret. He's looking to play that economic advantage, and already he has 35 drones versus Darkcell's 28, and Darkcell has now spotted the infestation pit. He is trying to focus it down, but these banelings are going to get in here, chase those zerglings away, and I don't see much happening for these zerglings. They are going to run away. Already an infestor out, building up energy, coming out before the pathogen glands upgrade was finished, but probably just used to build up a little bit of energy in case roaches come by, which he can probably expect is a potential. Darkcell, for his part, doing a good job hiding his roach tech, but now Ret is going to be able to spot it, and Darkcell, realizing that he is behind in economy, throwing down his hatchery as well, but Ret's hatchery is nearly finished. That's going to give him a huge economic advantage in addition to the drone advantage he already has. I would have to say that Ret is firmly in control of this game unless Darkcell is able to make a move with his superior army. He has quite a few more he has way more roaches than Ret, which of course Ret has no roaches, but I think that if Darkcell were to move out right now, despite these infestors throwing down fungal growths, he could do quite a bit of damage if he positioned himself just right. Ret has basically no defensive units. He has 4 zerglings, 5 banelings, 3 infestors, and a couple of spinecrawlers. He has 38 drones, and it looks like he is building more. 6 more drones coming out. Evolution chambers coming down. He's going to go for those upgrades, and this is an extremely interesting play, extremely risky. If only Darkcell knew that Ret had almost nothing. He could rush in with these roaches, he could rush in with some zerglings he produced, and he could do just a ton of damage to Ret. But he doesn't know, he doesn't even suspect. This Overseer is going to scout out simply the tech. He is not going to scout out the army. And this is very interesting. Both players macroing up, but Ret is in a huge lead. 48 drones, 49, 50 drones on 2 bases to Darkcell's 31 drones, and he is just now transferring drones over. We even have Ret coming in with a little bit of a run-by of zerglings, scouting the timing expansion, scouting the transfer timing. And Ret realizes that there's a bunch of roaches out here. He's going to have to start building roaches of his own, which he does. But he's still just sitting back, using these overlords, well placed. He has 2 overlords right here, so he knows that nothing is going to be coming quite yet. And when it does, he will be on the ball. He'll be able to produce as many roaches or infestors or zerglings as he needs to. And we have Darkcell still scouting around. Glail Reconstitution coming down for both players. +1 attack, +1 carapace coming down for Ret. And I still have to give the advantage firmly in Ret's hands. He is even deciding to go for a 3rd base, the gold base right here. If he could get that base up and running, he would be able to simply lock down this game economically. And Darkcell is falling further and further behind. He has to move out as soon as he can. He has to move out immediately. He has to make something happen. He has to kill some drones. He has to kill some army. He has got to put some pressure on LiquidRet. This passive style is not going to work. We have Overlord... we have Ventral Sacs and Pneumatized Carapace coming down for the Overlord, so we can probably expect some drop play, but with a research time of 130 game seconds, I do not think that this is going to happen in time, and even if it does, I think that Rhett is going to be able to respawn very quickly. We have a changeling. Everybody heard that. That changeling just got annihilated going down. It was the changeling that was hiding with these infestors. Very cool changeling, just chilling out, hiding behind those big fat blobs. But these big fat blobs are now full of energy. So many fungal growths going down. We have 2 fungal growths for each infestor, which means we're going to get a total of 8 nasty fungal growths, which do a huge amount of damage to roaches and immobilize them, allowing Rhett to really position himself as he wants to. And in a roach versus roach battle, which is what this is going to turn into, positioning is everything. Whoever has the better concave. To a lesser extent, whoever has the better upgrades can make up for positioning, but it's got to be positioning all the way. I think that if you have a better concave than your opponent, you are going to win almost every time unless they just completely outnumber you or out-upgrade you. And now Rhett realizes that Darkcell is looking to expand. He's going to move out now. He wants to prevent that while using this aggression to cover his own expansion. We have roaches. We have infestors. We even have a couple of banelings left over from the initial parts of the game. And level 2 attack, level 2 carapace coming down for Rhett, but he's got these level 1s finished, so he has the upgrade advantage. He has the tech advantage. He has the army advantage. I do not see what Darkcell is going to be able to do about this. He has a good position on his roaches, and big fungal growth going on for Rhett, but these roaches get aside. They go after the infestors, killing almost all those infestors, but look at this, those fungal growths, plus the good upgrades, plus the extra number of roaches, plus the good positioning for Rhett. I think that he is going to clean up this attack nicely. He's going to just utterly annihilate the army from Darkcell, and I don't know what Darkcell is going to do. We have another ton of roaches coming in, and there's even 4 roaches hiding in this Overlord, but it's not going to be enough. Even if they were to be dropped immediately, there were just too many roaches, too good a position, too much tech, and really too good timing for Rhett against Darkcell. He just had the advantage the entire game. Once it moved out of that Zergling, Baneling back and forth, it was just too much for Darkcell to deal with, and Rhett had his 3rd base going down. Even if he were to somehow have lost this battle, he would have been able to macro up another one. And we see here that Rhett is going to move up in the qualifying rounds. That was a good game. I'll see you next time.